Joining us in studio right now, my good friend Dr. Joe Congeni from Akron Children's Hospital. And Joe, you wanted to talk a little bit about a gathering this week in Akron, right?
Yeah, we have a big conference every year, Ray, and it is the first weekend in March. And I'm always too late. I mentioned it the last week in February or something. But for people at all in the medical field that are interested in sports medicine at any level, a student, an athletic trainer, a PT, a doc, this is a huge conference for us. And this year we have some of the best, some people I've run into out on the circuit of speaking nationally, and it's just really big. I wanted to let people know. The National Athletic Trainers Association Trainer of the Year from the University of Alabama, Jeff Allen. I've been in several speaking things, and Jeff was willing to come into town for this. He is fantastic. He really gives a good, entertaining, funny talk. He gets more airtime than Nick Saban. I mean, during, the time when all these big games, big thing like that, but he doesn't, but he's down home and he talks about high school kids and other things. And the big thing he's going to talk about is sideline medicine. A lot of people ask us more than anything else, how do you make those decisions? Who goes under the tent and makes it? Who has to go back and get an x-ray? Who do you send to emergency room? Who do you send right back on the field? Jeff, at the very highest level for 15 or 20 years at the University of Alabama, has made those decisions, and he's just so good and so entertaining. He's our kickoff. We have a couple of other good out-of-town speakers, a great sports nutritionist from Pittsburgh and a PT that's from Carolina and from out of town. This thing on March 1st is going to be really, really big. Sprinkled in with a few of our own speakers. Yeah, they got to put up with listening to me for 40 minutes.
I was just going to say, I'm sure you're on the panel.
Of course, I'm on the docket. We moved it this year, too. We were across the street over at the Hilton West, down the road. We keep growing. We got up to 180. We're really looking at 200 this year. So we moved into the iconic Firestone Country Club. So it's really kind of a cool venue. Firestone Country Club, going to be pretty full. I have the names and numbers. Anybody that would have an interest, any student that says, man, I'd love sports medicine. I'd love to hear a guy like Jeff Allen. I'd love to hear. It's just day long, starts at 8, finished at 5. We give our awards for the year, Akron Area Sports Medicine Awards, at 5 o'clock with a nice little reception, and it's all over within a day, March 1st. So instead of telling you on February 28th like I normally do, I wanted to make sure that I get this out there on time.
If people wanted to get more information, is there a number or a website or something?
Yeah, our person who runs this like clockwork is Amy Chand, Chand. Amy's phone number is 330-543-2126, and we'll work you in to get you in if you are interested in listening to these guys. The other is, of course, everything is with the website, SportsMed Conference on akronchildrens.org. So Amy Chand is 330-543-2126. A lot of people always say, man, I want to learn more about this field. We have really inexpensive rates for students of all medical students and PT students, nutrition, OT, PT. The place is filled with a real good array of different people. And boy, this year's conference is really chock full with good people.
Joe, when we talk about sideline medicine, a lot of times we see when you're working on an ankle, you're working on a cramp or something, how much preventative work do you do on the sidelines maybe before a game or to get ready in case something happens? What do you have at your disposal?
Well, I actually specifically, so there's two parts to Jeff's talk. I asked him to talk about sideline medicine, but I also asked him to talk about preparation that starts in the months of July and August, because I just came from that Atlanta conference, a lot of talk about how to prepare for, of course, the three that are the ones we worry about the most, head, heat, and heart, how you look at preventing those. But even from the standpoint of heat illness and cramping and other things. Now, Jeff's at a pretty high level, and a lot of those people may get IVs and stuff to prevent specifically the cramping you're talking about, either before the game or at halftime. We don't do that very much in the high school setting, but Jeff brings it down to the high school setting. He wouldn't be the NATA Trainer of the Year if he didn't be able to explain this to high school trainers throughout the South and the SEC. He speaks all the time down there. So getting him up here to the North is a coup. He's going to talk a lot about preparation because you know the deal. We've talked enough. Once kids start cramping, it's really really hard once they're going.
Tough to
that
head
night.
that up.
Very
So do
hard.
you have a couple of jars of pickle juice with you on the sidelines?
Yeah. Oh, we'll try anything to shame these
Is that
kids
still
and get
used?
ready.
I know that
during
was
the-
in vogue
I
about
might-
5 to
I
8
might have
years
seen
ago.
a little pickle juice this year alone. Yeah, so it is still out there occasionally to punish a few athletes. No, looking at salty stuff and how everything has kind of swung back and forth from no salt at all to salted foods and the Gatorade, using it appropriately, not just Gatorade, any of the rehydrating solutions, how to use it, when to use it. I'm interested in a new part of medicine, and we don't have one yet. A lot of teams around in our area do. The sideline evaluation training units. Have you seen those?
No.
The pop-up tents that go up, and then you go right into, instead of having to go all the way back to the locker room, but who is evaluated in the pop-ups? Now, you see that in the pros, right?
Yes.
You see where they take somebody into behind the curtains of the pop-up tent and things like that. So all the colleges have them. A couple of high schools. Yeah. We played against Ignatius this year. They had a big fancy one with their name on it, and they do some advertising on it. But these pop-up tents have added a little piece. So you can't have your whole medical team going back in the locker room all the time. So for certain things, when you're just trying to get a sense on maybe, and I'll tell you in our world, a head or a neck injury, and you want to go back, you want a quieter place, you don't necessarily want 80,000 fans in Jeff's case, or 5,000, 10,000 fans at InfoCision in our case when it's a big St. V. Hoban game or something, knowing all of what's going on with the exam. So these pop-up tents have become part of sideline medicine. But no x-rays right there. You got to make a lot of these decisions by clinical examination and reproducing the demands of what the athlete's going to have to go through on the field. So it's really become a very, very important part of sideline medicine.
Very interesting. Hey, big collision tonight at the James A. Rhodes Arena for the girls and boys.
Anytime the green and gold and blue and gold get together, and so girls are at a very high level with a lot on the line and an undefeated Hoban team and a very good St. V team, and then the boys again. And I'm glad the venue at the Jar Arena is going to really be rocking tonight. So if you want to see some good hot basketball as we get through the gray days of February, great game tonight.
All right. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Ray. Have a good day.
You too. Dr. Joe Congeni, Akron Children's Hospital, joining us. And indeed,